The Hollow, 2015, directed by Sheldon Wilson, is a supernatural horror film that intricately weaves themes of folklore, family trauma, and survival against a backdrop of an isolated island in the Pacific Northwest. The narrative unfolds on Shelter Island, where a dark legend tells of a demonic being known as the Hollow that emerges every 100 years on Halloween night, unleashing chaos and destruction coupled with a supernatural storm. The film centers around three estranged sisters, Sarah, Marley, and Emma, who reunite for the funeral of their Aunt Cora. Each sister grapples with personal struggles stemming from the recent loss of their parents and their strained relationships with one another. Sarah, as the eldest sibling, takes on a protective maternal role, while the rebellious Marley constantly questions authority and family dynamics, often butting heads with Sarah. Emma, the youngest, is sensitive and fragile, still processing the grief of losing her family. Their unsettling journey begins with an eerie ferry ride to Shelter Island, where the unfolding storm marks the onset of their nightmare. As they arrive, they find the island largely deserted and desolate, with blockaded roads and disrupted communications. The sisters seek refuge in their aunt's old house, linked to a cryptic heritage through a journal that hints at the ominous forces at play. As night descends, eerie occurrences escalate, unexplained noises and supernatural phenomena plague their surroundings, foreshadowing the horrors to come. The legend of the Hollow materializes when they finally face the creature, a nightmarish entity made of natural elements like wood and fire, capable of swift and brutal lethality. Its ferocity is affirmed when a local couple falls victim to the beast, horrifically burned alive, underlining the ancient curse that binds the Hollow to the island. Desperate and terrified, the sisters attempt to escape the vengeful force by seeking safety at the sheriff's station, only to discover it in ruins filled with desolation and signs of previous violence. With each step taken into the heart of darkness, the sisters bond over their shared fear and grief while navigating both the storm and the impending threat of the Hollow. The film builds a compelling atmosphere of dread and confrontation, as the sisters must not only fight for survival against an ancient evil, but also confront the unresolved emotional tensions that could either unite or destroy them in their darkest hours. The chilling tale culminates in a battle not just for their lives but for the reconciliation of their frayed familial ties amidst overwhelming supernatural horror. As the sisters search for safety, they delve deeper into the creature haunting their island home and uncover the unsettling connection their family has to it. They discover Aunt Cora's journals, which reveal a hidden lineage tied to an ancient curse that afflicts the island. Cora had been among the few who understood the necessary rituals to keep the Hollow, a sinister entity, at bay, and her sudden death may have inadvertently unleashed the demon. The Hollow thrives on human emotions like fear and loss, suggesting that its resurgence is linked to the sisters' own family traumas. As fear grips them, Marley, increasingly anxious and distrustful, accuses Sarah of endangering their lives. Their disputes reach a fever pitch just before the Hollow attacks again, more violently than before. The sisters lose their vehicle in the chaos and are compelled to seek refuge in a small cabin hidden deep in the woods. Amidst the terror, they find moments of solace as they confront their shared grief over their parents' deaths, revealing the guilt that haunts them both. Emma stumbles upon a series of esoteric symbols and rituals penned by Aunt Cora which offer hope in their battle against the creature. Armed with this newfound knowledge, the sisters craft traps and perform a binding spell in an attempt to protect themselves, hoping to endure until daylight. However, the Hollow remains tireless in its pursuit, launching another attack and claiming the lives of more innocent bystanders. In a courageous act to divert the creature away from her sister and Emma, Marley sacrifices herself in a fiery confrontation. Her loss shatters both Sarah and Emma but ignites a fierce determination within them. They discover that fire harbors both the potential to empower and harm the Hollow, leading them to devise a plan to manipulate the creature's vulnerabilities. In a climactic showdown, Sarah and Emma return to Aunt Cora's home, where they confidently execute the ritual outlined in the journal, utilizing sacred symbols, earth, and their own blood to bind the creature. As the Hollow emerges for a final ferocious assault, the sisters stand firm while the ritual takes form, generating a magical shield. The creature, thrashing violently, is ultimately engulfed in flames and vanquished. Following this, the storm subsides and the woods fall eerily silent. As dawn breaks, Sarah and Emma, emotionally fractured yet resolute, observe the last of the flames flickering out and the ash settling around them. Though scarred, the island finds a moment of peace, signaling a temporary end to the curse. As the sisters leave, they emerge more profoundly connected through their shared trauma and survival, suggesting that while the Hollow has been defeated for now, its sinister presence may one day return, hinting at a dreadful cycle yet to unfold. The Hollow delves into intricate themes of grief, family estrangement, sacrifice, and the tension between rationality and folklore. Central to the film is the relationship among three sisters, each navigating their trauma in distinct ways. Sarah, the eldest, seeks control, Marley, the rebellious middle child, acts out, and Emma, the youngest, embraces emotional vulnerability. The challenges they face together test and ultimately reinforce their familial bond. The Hollow symbolizes inherited trauma and concealed pain, materializing as a creature formed from both fire and earth, a relentless force of nature that defies reason, demanding mere survival. Its design, consisting of forest debris intertwined with molten heat, evokes primal fear while serving as a metaphor for environmental horror. Visually striking, the film takes full advantage of its isolated island backdrop and an unyielding storm, amplifying the sense of dread. The darkness, combined with natural elements and a haunting sound design, expertly builds tension, proving that even with a modest budget typical of television films, The Hollow successfully captivates its audience through atmosphere and pacing. Set in a supernatural and isolated realm where folklore intertwines with reality, The Hollow, 2015, presents a tightly woven horror narrative. The story follows the three sisters as they confront an ancient evil while concurrently mending their fractured relationships shaped by grief. This tale is rooted in family drama featuring a menacing villain connected to nature and legend. While the sisters ultimately vanquish the creature, the narrative leaves an unsettling impression, hinting that the darkness is never truly extinguished but merely lies dormant awaiting the next storm. The film begins with rain lashing at the turbulent sea as a ferry approaches the remote shelter island shrouded in dense woodland. The sisters Sarah, the responsible one, Marley, the defiant one, and Emma, the emotional one, arrive to attend Aunt Cora's funeral. Their relationship is fraught, steeped in the unresolved grief of their parents' deaths. The atmosphere is foreboding, enhanced by a chilling wind and enveloping fog, while the locals exhibit a palpable unease, offering cryptic warnings that the sisters dismiss as unfounded. Arriving at Cora's quaint cottage filled with peculiar artifacts and ominous hand-drawn symbols, they uncover a journal filled with sketches of terrifying creatures and warnings about the island's curse. Local legends recount how every century on Halloween night a horrifying entity known as the Hollow emerges from the earth, unleashing destruction in a tempest of fire and fury. As darkness descends upon the island, a fierce storm disrupts communication and power lines fall, leaving the sisters feeling increasingly isolated in an eerie house. Strange sounds emanate from the woods, snapping branches, unnatural howls of the wind, and something large moving just beyond sight. Initially dismissing it as wildlife, their worst fears materialize when they stumble upon a charred body burnt beyond recognition. Panic sets in as the realization dawns that a predatory force is stalking the island. In another part of the forest, a young couple becomes victim to this lurking terror. Flames erupt around them, their screams piercing the night as the Hollow, a monstrous entity composed of gnarled branches, glowing embers, and debris, attacks with shocking aggressiveness. The creature leaves destruction in its wake, reducing everything it encounters to ashes. The sisters' discovery of the couple's incinerated remains confirms the grim folklore of the island. The legend is indeed real. With fear tightening its grip, the sisters attempt to escape but find that fallen trees have rendered the roads unusable. In search of help, they make their way to the sheriff's station only to find it ransacked and abandoned, with officers either missing or dead. Their desperate flight continues as the Hollow relentlessly pursues them through the woods, moving with surprising speed and silence despite its size. They momentarily find sanctuary in a hunter's cabin where they begin to delve into Aunt Cora's journal. Realizing their family may be intertwined with a sinister curse, Sarah discovers that Cora had conducted rituals designed to suppress the Hollow's emergence. Her recent demise left the island vulnerable to the creature's wrath. Driven by their desire to survive, the sisters work to create protective wards using symbols gleaned from Cora's writings. Emma, displaying an exceptional affinity for these spiritual elements, meticulously paints the symbols around their hiding place. At first, their efforts appear effective in warding off the creature. However, tensions rise as Marley grows increasingly skeptical and defiant regarding the rituals and their chances of survival. While Emma and Sarah focus on the ancient practices, Marley questions the efficacy of their efforts and the validity of their fears. The sisters find themselves at a critical juncture. Can they reignite their collective faith in their lineage's protective traditions, or will their fractures lead to their doom as the Hollow continues its ominous hunt? As they grapple with their different beliefs, the looming threat becomes ever more palpable, forcing them to confront the deep-rooted darkness that has long haunted their family and their home. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.